Well, I'm going to talk about this a lot in the coming days, but the thing I'm going to talk about right now is Kirby Smart's interview with Coach Krzyzewski, talking about Brock Bowers, and there's one important part here that I think sums up why Brock Bowers has been successful, and it's not exclusively his talent. And he said to Coach K earlier this week on Sirius XM satellite radio, excuse me. I was talking to our nutritionist today. We were talking about guys struggling to maintain their weight. We have a bigger problem with guys gaining weight than guys being gaining weight being too heavy. He said, "Why does Brock Bowers not have that problem?" Is what Kirby asked uh, the nutritionist, and the answer is he comes to every meal. He's there on time every time. He gets a snack. He does everything we ask him to do. He was 235. To start the season, he was 235 by the end of the season. Never had an issue with any of it because he's very diligent about his habits. And Krzyzewski goes on to say he's disciplined. I love the fact that he was sending you his telephone videos instead of putting it on social media to show everybody that I work out. I want to show my coach I work out. Well, listen, Brock Bowers is an exceptional player. As all of you know, he's featured. You don't all know this. He's featured in DAWGSTRUCTION, which you should pick up right down below. He's featured in several things. He was the best freshman that played college football this season. I don't know how he missed out on the Mackey Award. I'm not a Mackey Award voter. I only vote in the Heisman Trophy and the Bolitnikoff Award. So I don't know how that happened, but it's clear to me that Brock Bowers is a special player because Brock Bowers treats every day like it's special. And every day is not special, but when you do things repetitively over and over again, you will get results. I remember when I was 235 pounds. I also remember my first year in college, and I did not maintain weight, and I was playing two sports at once. So that was really challenging dietary undiscipline to be that way. And I'm sure if my coaches are watching right now, they're laughing. My One of my coaches in college for one of the sports told me that I had managed to put a new wing on the Burger King in town. That's not been a problem for Brock Bowers. He's done an excellent job of doing everything he's supposed to do, and that's why he's going to be a first round draft pick. I mean, we're talking about a tight end here, so he might not go. He's not going to go number one overall, but he is a weapon, the likes of which the staff at Georgia. It's not just Kirby. They are well aware of the damage that he can do. Um, Over time, he played 15 games, 13 starts, 56 catches, 882 yards, 13 touchdowns. Those are single season records for a tight end. He had 10 catches in the championship game. I was talking with one insider who said that Brock Bowers could have caught the ball the entire night against Michigan if Georgia wanted to do that. So he's a terrible matchup for the other team. And he's one of the reasons why Georgia will probably be back in Atlanta with a chance to get to the college football playoff on the line. There's just not a lot of people like Brock Bowers out there. Now, that's just Brock Bowers. I mean, you still have Darnell Washington, who is a gifted freak, the likes of which you just don't see. I'll show you this one picture. Listen, these tight ends, I mean, they are something else, y'all. You got Brock Bowers killing people. You got Darnell out here leaping over players. If you remember from the Kentucky game, really good value in this book. You need to make sure you're picking that up. Uh, I don't even know what to say about the tight ends after a while. I mean, people are concerned about, and there's reason to be concerned at Georgia. I mean, there's things to be worried about when you start talking about, hey, they've lost a lot defensively. Yeah, but they return. I don't know if they return about as much offense as they've had since the 18 season, I guess. But you lost Nick and Sony then, so it became a different running back group. But this group, you're returning, the starting quarterback, the starting receiver, excuse me, the starting quarterback, the leading receiver in tight end Brock Bowers. 3 of the 4 leading receivers return. The offensive line could be better than it was this season, and it was doing what it wanted to do to everybody this past year. There weren't any of these times when Georgia couldn't run. Like, I don't know if you recall this or not, but like against Kentucky a season ago, it became hard for Georgia to run. There was no point. Now, y'all can correct me down below, but I don't recall a single time this year where Georgia didn't run the ball the way they wanted to. Um, no, I mean, the Alabama game in Atlanta, yeah, I mean, that was a real fight. And neither team really ran effectively, but all you needed to do at the end of the Alabama second game was watch the game. They were running it right down their throat. I mean, Zamir and James Cook, but specifically Zamir was doing what they wanted to do. Why? Why were they doing these things? Now, I don't have a picture of Brock scoring the touchdown against Alabama to take Georgia up 8. But I talk about that in the book. Why were they able to do all of these things? Because there's no one great player. Now Brock Bowers is probably as close to that as you get on this team. Okay, although there's some really good players, Brock is a real issue for the other team because of his matchup. The problem is you've got guys everywhere. There's no, I mean, there are not holes, y'all. It's not there. And this program is built off everybody, doing what they're supposed to do all the time. I'm going to talk about that more in the future. The Krzyzewski interview of Kirby was outstanding. I would listen, Kirby, whenever you're ready to come on the show, let me know. We can talk for 30 minutes about stuff that doesn't have to be football. But, when two coaches who have won the national championship get together like they did, it gives you insight into things that, when I go back to Coker where I played, that I get from Coach when I talk to him. One thing Krzyzewski talked about, and I can't remember if it was Krzyzewski or Kirby, but they push too hard, and the answer for is yes. Back in the day, that's one thing that Kirby talked about. And I'm going to talk about that in another video. That we did push too hard, and it wore people out. Mentally, physically. I know where I was at. It did wear us out. Now we've got a lot more information that we didn't have in the past. Nutrition was not something we discussed when I was in college at all, ever. We lifted, we ran. Let me tell you, we ran. Okay, we were physical. We didn't talk about nutrition. I didn't get weighed, so it wasn't something that was. And I remember I had close friends that played football at Georgia in the time that Kirby was there. They basically gave you a notebook for the off season, and you were supposed to adhere to that. And that's not what it's like now. I mean, it's a whole apparatus, and that's why they can tell that Brock Bowers is doing what he's supposed to do. That's why, because he's doing what he's supposed to do, it's not a surprise that he's succeeding. There's no mystery here. This is all planned. This is all on purpose. This is not a mistake. And that's why Brock Bowers is successful right now. Talent helps a lot. Talent is the number one thing. But you got to combine talent with other stuff too. You got to combine your ability to get this book by clicking right down below. Hey, thanks for listening, watching. We'll see you over on the website. Make sure you're picking the book up. We'll see you on Dog Post.